So on this call, what I wanted to do was kind of just walk through from start to finish, like what the process is, like how it compounds, the different areas, and really just like go from A to Z. I'm using some slides that are the same slides I went over in one of the trainings, but I think this will be helpful to kind of do it live, answer some questions as I go. And some of y'all maybe hadn't watched the video yet. Anyways, so this will kind of just go from A to Z, like what it can and should look like. Gonna push through the training. If you have questions, drop them in the chat as we go. And Elizabeth, if you can just like speak up if someone asks a question that I should answer while I'm going. Otherwise, we'll have some time at the end for Q&A, and hopefully we can uncover some good strategies for all of us. So I'm going to share my screen. Just do that. Boom. All right. So compounding process. So the real like goal, right, that we're all trying to do within the process, one, having a process that in and of itself is going to grow and produce more opportunity and produce more jobs for you, is unique. It's not something that is that common. Like a lot of people, they have their sales process and they have their production process, and then they're getting leads from the outside. What we're trying to do is create leads from within via processes. And this is going to help when you do have your team that you're bringing on, your salespeople. We want you to be able to give them very clear instruction on how to follow the process so that you can further create leverage for yourself, so that you can have some people running it for you and each individual building their own process, because there's a lot of things and ways to create compounding, right? One of them is by having multiple people doing the action that in and of itself compounds. So if you were investing in the S&P 500 and you had two separate accounts and each account had $20 in it, then you're going to have double the return, right? Or double the amount of growth, and it's going to get interest and compounding interest and double. Now, obviously, like you could increase the input. So like you could put $40 in one account, but we're talking about people. So dollars is energy. We only have a finite amount of energy. So we can only handle so much. But if we have that process going and we can have multiple people doing it, then it's growing and multiple people are building that pipeline in and of it themselves and creating that compounding. In the process, right, the really important things that we're going to kind of break down at each step is right when the lead comes in and like what to do when the appointment's scheduled, when you have the appointment and what to do at the appointment, when the job's closed, when the job's scheduled, after the job, like at a final inspection, final walkthrough, and then we're adding in like a 30-day follow-up. So like how can we kind of poke them one last time to try to get some referrals and all that out of them. So we want to kind of dive into each of these. And that's why I know that a lot of the time you get the strategy in bits and pieces. This is what you do here. This is how you do the canvassing at each level. This is how you do the direct mail. But I wanted to give you it all together so that it can kind of click, maybe for anyone that one needs a refresher, or two, maybe just me being here going through it live will be a way that it kind of hits differently. At the end of the day, though, like this is what it can and should do. If you do these actions predictably, then your lead flow will become more and more predictable. Now, day one, no, it won't. But as you grow and as you continuously do this and your pipeline's always growing and you're always like these actions and these steps are compounding, you're going to have a lot more predictable lead flow, jobs, and all of that. It's going to give you a strategy that doesn't go out of style. So when you're doing this, you don't have to worry about like an algorithm update screwing you over, or about whether Facebook ads are trending in a bad direction. Like this is a lot more like it just is kind of based on psychology 101. Like we can just keep it moving, keep it pushing. Now, is the direct mail forever going to be something that just works every time. No. And I'm not saying that like we should stop doing direct mail. What I'm saying is we're not focusing on one individual thing. What we're doing is creating all these touch points. We're hitting them in a bunch of different ways. If direct mail becomes completely obsolete, then we're finding a new thing to replace that touch point so we can just keep on hitting the touch points. So what we're always trying to do is just create the maximum amount of touch points to the neighbors and to the people that could be potentially other customers, and having that as something that's happening because you're following a process, not a spray and pray, not just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks. Instead, having an intentional set of actions that we do at each of these phases that I mentioned in the last slide so that it grows. It also is kind of, once again, the internal growth are my systems set up to generate me leads. So it kind of puts generating leads a little bit more in your hands. What can be done to improve this process? So if something's not working, the strategy and the process of trying to build a compounding effect within the way you're growing your roofing business, that doesn't stop. But if a part of it is not working, or if we need to improve it, we now have something that we know this concept works. Now, what can we do to tweak it to make it work best for me or for my market? And then business growth through systems rather than the owner. Like I said, at some point, you as the owner, if you're out selling, you may need to get into the office and have someone else selling for you. You may need to go on vacation. You may need to take care of your newborn daughter, right? So what we want to do is put things in a position where the business and the growth of the business is happening as a result of systems and processes. That's where real value and enterprise value comes in. So like if you ever were going to sell your business and this is something that, and you had these processes in place, I've never sold a roofing business, but I have sold businesses and I bought businesses. This is the type of thing that people look for, is like, are they doing that? An example that is common that you could hear. If you as a roofing company had a cold calling team internal and they had a whole process that they followed. So you as a company had team members that were part of your company doing outbound calls and lead generation because you developed a strategy for it. And that was one of the ways that was accounting for a large portion of your growth. Someone who's buying your company would like that a lot more than if you got all your business because you were really good at Facebook ads. Why? Because they know Facebook ads can change and go away, and like your ad account could get stopped and all of that. But odds are, if you are really good at cold calling, you just keep rolling. Like, so that's just an example. And that's just kind of like the way you want to think about it is like, we want to have internal things that are growing. HubSpot is popular. They came up, or they like really, I don't know if they came up with it, but they like are huge on this strategy. So people think of a pipeline when they're coming to like sales and marketing and all that. And that's just like the funnel is like people think. So there's like just exactly what you think. There's a top of the funnel when they're all cold, and then you bring them through phases and get them to the bottom of the funnel. And at the very bottom is where they close. This concept of flywheel is kind of flipping that on its head, because in that strategy, it's linear. And they said, marketing isn't linear, sales isn't linear. And the less linear you make it, you can actually kind of improve things. So they said, what if you could turn strangers into prospects, into customers, into promoters? And then those promoters will get you more strangers that you can turn into prospects, into customers, into promoters. And that's how you can create the snowball. So you're attracting, engaging with people, doing a great job, and all of these actions and having this as your focus is what will create your growth. And if that is how you're growing, once again, that is how your processes and how the things that are unique to you, the things that are unique to your company, the experience you give, the referral strategies you have, your stuff is what's growing. So that's the flywheel. And that's like really one of the things, like that's a way to think about what we're trying to do. Stranger, prospect, customer, promoter, stranger, prospect, customer, promoter, into infinity. Like it keeps going. So first step, right? Now we're going to go through real quick. I just want to say, we're going to go through the process. So like, I'm going to walk you through when a lead comes in to the end when your job's finished and you're just reaching out to them one last time. Like I want to go from A to Z here. So first thing we know is going to happen is the lead's going to come in. So you put them in your CRM, or maybe they're auto-populated into your CRM, or if you really don't use a CRM much, and there's a couple people that we're working on getting to use it more, we manually go do it. But we get dope to send 15, 25, 50 postcards to the nearest neighbors. Some people don't like the idea of sending a postcard before you know whether you're going to close the deal. And I understand that. But when you're investing in Facebook ads, on average, it's costing you about $20 to $30 to get in front of 1,000 people. When you're investing in Google ads, it's costing you about probably more than that, probably like $75 to $125 to get in front of, to have 1,000 or so impressions. So you're spending money on people that you don't know whether they are a good prospect. But if this person thinks, I think I need to get my roof checked out, these aren't 1,000 random people anymore. These are 25 people that are more likely to be in a similar situation as their neighbor. Every time, no. Are you going to send a postcard to someone who maybe already had their roof replaced? Yes. But guess what? It's going to cost you 99 cents to do it. And if we job cost it all in and you're closing at like 25 or 30%, you just fold it in. So, okay, if I'm going to at lead in, if I close at 25%, I'm going to spend $100 because that's the one that actually closed and then the 3 that didn't. So it doesn't end up being a huge investment. And if you have a higher closing rate than 25%, then that's even better. So we want to look at like the alternative. So a lot of times like, oh, I don't want to send the postcards there. Well, you're spending money, or you have spent money, or an alternative could be spending money on these other platforms where you're spending money to get in front of way more strangers that you know way less about than spending some money to fit the postcards to just the neighbors, even before you close the job. So we always get people asking us about this. Oh, I don't know if that's for me. Really suggest just doing it. Once again, we are trying to throw lines in the water. And I also have seen multiple times people start by saying, man, all the roofs have gotten replaced in this area. And then like 5 minutes later, like, oh, actually, I got a call from this person, they needed siding or something like that. So like there's still opportunity. So step 1, the 25 postcards, that's an easy one. We're just going to send it. Step 1, those are touch point number 1. Touch point number 2, you're going to text the person that you're on the way and say, while I'm in there and I have my ladder, is there anyone that would want us, do you have any neighbors that you're friends with that might want us to stop by their house too? A little kicker you can add is, I'll double check with you after we get you taken care of, just so they know that you're going to bring it up again. Some people will never, ever send this text message to their neighbors, but some people will. So if 15 or 20% of people will send this and you can get another inspection before you've even closed the deal in the same area because someone introduced you to their neighbor, not a bad deal. So it's worth asking, it's worth sending. And you're not asking for a referral yet. All you're asking is if you want someone, if they know someone that could use the free inspection that you're already offering, taking some pictures, walking through what might need to happen, putting an estimate together. So This is the next step. This is the next way to potentially turn one opportunity into a few. The postcards are a way to turn one opportunity into a few. Before the appointment, we want to show up 15 minutes early, put the door hangers 15 to 20 nearest neighbors, the 6-pack, the 12-pack, like whatever, do more than 6, but put these door hangers around the neighborhoods, on the block, really like anywhere where if you stepped out of the door of the house that you're inspecting, that they could also see you if they were in their front yard really easily. That's a good like rule of thumb. Door hangers are where a lot of your calls are going to come from, and a lot of your opportunities are going to come from the door hanger. Now, is the door hanger the only thing that got them to? No. The reason that they're reaching out to you, whether it's mail, text message, door hanger, yard sign, any of that, is not because of the individual marketing. It's because you're working on their neighbors. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. All we're doing is trying to create additional awareness, additional reminders, and create those conversations, maybe even the conversations with their spouse that you don't know are happening. Hey, I got this door hanger. Like, do you think we should talk to them? Like, we just want to create additional opportunities, but it's never the marketing piece that is it. The marketing pieces are only meant to show and create additional hooks to get them to see you're there, you're ready to talk to them, and you want to make sure that the experience of you working with their neighbor is also good for them. So 15 minutes before, put the door hangers down. At the appointment, one of the first things you ask, all right, we'll go check it out, blah, blah, blah. Right after you've built a little rapport and like it's not tense and it's not that awkward introduction, say, hey, by the way, did you shoot a message to any of your neighbors? Just wanted to double check if I need to stop by anyone else after your inspection. Casual. Some of them will say, no one responded. Some of them say, no, I didn't get to it. Don't push. Don't be like, okay, will you? Just additional reminder. Because a lot of them will be like, oh, shoot, I didn't send it. Let me send it now. And that's kind of what we want to do. This is your insurance on this text to hopefully maybe get one more at bat for them to maybe send that message. So that's one of the things we want to ask kind of right towards the beginning. You can ask it at the end, but a lot of other information has been given to them at that point. So it's just like too much. It's kind of a lot of things that they're needing to process at that point. They're trying to, I have this damage. This is going to cost about this much. I need to work with my insurance company. That's not when they want to be like sending a quick text message. So if you can do it before the inspection, before you've told them that they need a new roof, and all of that, it usually will land a little better. So we send that. After the appointment, let's assume that it appears as though there will be a close, or you close them. Some people are one-call closers here. Some people send proposals, and it takes 2 weeks to hear back. But in general, at the appointment, you kind of know. I can tell you there's not a single person on this call that I was surprised after our conversation that you worked with me. Some of you just made a decision on the spot. Some of you took a day or two, but none of you, I wasn't surprised with any of you, because you know, generally during the conversation, okay, this person's asking a lot of buying questions. They're most focused on logistics. Like they're most focused on logistics, whether it's when the roof could be replaced. They're now already talking about colors. They're asking about financing options. Like they're asking very much buying questions at this point. So you have a pretty good idea. That's not the only time where you want to do this next step, but it definitely is a time where you really want to make sure you do this next step. I'm not saying the next step is even optional, but if you are pretty sure they're going to buy, it's like full-blown required. So after the appointment, just check who took the door hanger off. Because what does that mean? That means they had your company's name in their hand. Ideally, they also have seen your wrapped truck. Maybe if you did close the other person, you already stuck a yard sign in there. They probably haven't seen it yet, but you can point to it. So we're trying to create additional like brand recognition, brand awareness. We're trying to squeeze in $1 million branding budget into 25 people and hit them like $5, $6 per person. Like that's a lot of money to spend on branding to one person. But we know these are good people, but you're out branding yourself to them than anyone else could. Very good strategy, very good way of doing it. So, hey, just finished inspecting Sam's roof. We actually filed an insurance claim. Saw you grab the door hanger I left already, so just wanted to stop by and introduce myself since I may be around a few times over the next couple weeks. By the way, do you by any chance want me to check to see if you have the damage that Sam had? You probably didn't dodge that storm. Ha ha ha. Same joke over and over again. Just like, and then like our inspections are free, by the way. Like disclaimer, like I'm not asking you to spend money with me. You can also like say, like if like we filed an insurance claim for Sam, like so we're trying to see if we can get the insurance company to pay for it. She definitely needs a new roof though. If she didn't call us out, it could have been a problem. Or if it's retail, her roof was definitely at the end of its life. Looks like your house was built around the same time. So who grabbed the door hanger already? And the nice thing is most people have Ring doorbells or something like that. So you don't have to knock or anything. They're probably going to get a notification on their phone when you walk up and put that door hanger down. So they're just wondering, who is this person? So this is a really, really like powerful time to go talk to people. This is creating referral quality conversations before you even started the project, because you can reference Sam. They know now that Sam trusted you enough to ask for an estimate, or that Sam trusted you enough to help her file an insurance claim, him, I don't know, Sam. And like there's a lot of things that you kind of have built up there. You can skip a few steps. So you're creating kind of these conversations that are a lot warmer. And something we've heard people say, so once you like get this stuff down, it becomes more of like project planning with them rather than selling. And if we can work really hard on building this stuff up and having more of those conversations, like if you don't have fun at sales anymore, you probably will start having more fun, because it'll just be, all right, let's do this, let's do that. Like it will become easier, and your salespeople won't have to be as good as salespeople, but they will have to be really great doers and just following the rules, following the stuff that you have them do. You don't need necessarily the people who have just been in the industry for a super long time. You all of a sudden open a lot of doors for yourself and who you can even bring on to help. And also they're going to make more money. And that's great, because that hopefully is directly correlated with money you make. So after the appointment, now let's say insurance claim went through, job filed, job's going to happen. So it's closed. That's when we're going to have the next 25 to 50 postcards go through. We're going to send this. They're going to say, excuse our mess, your neighbor's getting a new roof, that type of thing. Now, important to remember, at this point, you should have a yard sign. So if the job's closed, add a yard sign. I'll even add this to the thing. Like make sure there is a yard sign. So put the yard sign up. Hopefully they maybe seen your truck. They got the first door hangers. They got the first mail. Now they're getting the second mail. So once again, hitting them. We're trying to really, really make them very, very aware that you are there and you are working there. We want it to be more top of mind than it normally would be if someone was a week away from doing a project. We want them to know, without even having to talk to the neighbor, that their neighbor's getting a new roof in a couple weeks. Doesn't normally happen like that, but if it did, when it does, pretty powerful. So, night before the job, this is one of my favorite text messages. If you guys haven't started sending this text message, please do. It works. Night before the job. Hey, I changed the name, I guess. Hey, Jake, excited to start the job in the morning. As we discussed, this can be a big process, and our crew will likely arrive in a few vehicles. We do our best to keep things cleaned and contained, but every once in a while, something might blow in your yard without the guys noticing. Can you go ahead and provide my contact info with your neighbors, just in case they need us to move our car or if anything blows in their yard? We are making a request of them now. So we're further along in the process. It's a little more appropriate of a time to mention that. But we are also encouraging them to be a good neighbor. You're not asking for a referral. Your request is not for a referral. Your request is, hey, help me, help you, help the neighbors. Like, if there's an issue, you don't want them to have to reach out to you. I don't want them to have to reach out to you. I want to be able to just deal with it directly. They don't want to have to reach out to you. Like, let's just make this easier for everyone. But what this does is it creates the conversation. It gives the neighbor be like, oh yeah, actually, they're really great so far. It also puts your phone number in the name, in the hands and in the phone of any of the neighbors that they do send this text to. So it's really easy just to press a button and text you or call you. So this is a really powerful strategy. So send this. Morning of job. First thing, I didn't add this, but just note, same thing for like, hey, did you ask any of your neighbors if they wanted a free inspection? First thing, check in the morning as well. Hey, did you send my info to your neighbors? I just want to make sure that like we could make this a good experience for them and you. Okay. So that's like final confirmation. But what we want to do is someone, the salesperson, you, project manager, needs to first thing in the morning put the door hangers up that say, pardon our mess, or construction in progress, or whatever. Basically, we are doing this. Sorry, it's a pain. All day. Just have a presence. Who's in the area? If someone's walking to get their groceries, like, hey, do you need help? Like, just wanted to introduce myself. Like, whatever it is, talk to the neighbors if you can. And a great excuse to go knock on the door is if they grabbed your door hanger. Even if they didn't grab your door hanger, but you're pretty sure they're home, this is a really easy conversation and they already likely know who you are. So this is going to be something that like will be like, you don't have to wait until they grab your door hanger. They already should know who you are at this point. Then you talk to them. Hey, my name is Contractor McContractor, and we are over there replacing the Joneses roof. Just wanted to introduce myself in case you need anything. I know it can be a pain having all the noise and the cars in the way, so here's my card. Just let me know if I can do anything at all. By the way, if you need an inspection, we already have our ladders and all that, and I can hop on to see if you have any damage from the storm or if your roof needs to be checked out too. So very casual. You're introducing them. The majority of your conversation is, I know it can be a pain. Here's my number if you need anything. Oh, by the way, this. So this is the kind of conversation we want to be having on the build day. The door hanger is like your visual that you know they grabbed you. They had your brand in their hand. And at this point, they've seen your yard sign. They've seen the delivery truck. They've seen your crews and are hearing the nail guns. They have they've gotten the first door hanger. They've gotten the other postcard. They've seen your truck maybe a couple times out there. So like at this time, like you've been around. They know who you are. And these are going to be pretty warm conversations. So during the build, that's kind of what we want to do. So now the build is over. Everything is kind of wrapping up. You want to schedule a post-job inspection or a final walkthrough. You can do it on the same day, but I like it if you can do it separately, like after after everything kind of is settled. One thing I like to remind you of is be careful trying to do the post-job inspection and collect the check and ask for a referral all at the same time, because people aren't like, hey, here's $20,000. And then you're like, okay, great. Can you also send me more people? Even if you're offering to pay them money, like I'm not saying that's a no-go, but you're not catching them at a time where they're like psychologically just like fired up. If we're putting the entire, I'm going to do this because I think it's always important. If you're looking at the experience of the homeowner on a spectrum, there's low when they know they need a new roof and they're like, shit, I have to replace my roof. About the same, but maybe a little higher when they're like finally taking action. When they meet a contractor, it's still about here. It's not exciting. They don't want to meet you. I'm sorry. When they realize, oh, this is one of the good guys, it's right here. When they sign the contract, it's probably still right around here. When the build is happening, it's depending on the person, it could go this way or it could go this way, but probably a little both. When the job's finished, boom, as long as you did a good job, when you pay when they give you the final invoice, you're back down here. So we don't want there to be a low when you're asking for the review and referral and all of that. Like we want to find a better time if we can. Now, this isn't a rule. So don't take this and be like, oh, I'm screwing everything up. I need to change this. I need to do that. But just be aware, like it might be different for you, the whole journey, but try to like, maybe if you can map out what are their emotions in your process? What are the peaks and valleys? And make sure you're not asking for things during a valley. It's a good thing I don't have anything top secret on Messenger. So that's during the build. So post-job inspection, I like 1 to 3 days after that. Schedule it, make sure they are there on the way, hint at your referral program. Once again, if you're doing this all on the build day, that's fine, and you won't need to do this, but maybe you could text them throughout it. But hey, Sam, on my way to get another look at the roof just to make sure all is well. Pumped to talk about our referral program too. I think you'll like it. Start thinking of people that might need a new roof. If you know that they enjoyed the experience. Now, are they just automatically going to be like, okay, yeah, amazing? I don't know. Like this is kind of like a neutral text message. Not a whole lot's going to happen from it. But what could happen from it is if they actually already know someone. They're like, oh, by the way, yeah, I had just talked to my brother. So if they already actually know someone, the odds that they currently know someone that needs a new roof, aside from maybe their neighbors, is not that high. So this is just a little nudge, maybe, but okay. At the post-job inspection, do the inspection, check it out, do what you say you're going to do. Talk about it like roofs are your favorite fucking thing in the world. Like that they are just the best. Yeah, oh my gosh, like nerd out. Make them like, okay, yeah, it's cool. Like, be like, and the valleys, like, oh, I'm just so happy with how the crews were able to get that done. Like, So just so you know, we have we have ice and water shields. It's like a thicker, like, did you see the stuff that we put over the wood on the decking? Yeah. Okay. So that's a synthetic, or that's a 15-pound felt or whatever. What we do in the valleys though is we put a something called ice and water. I know it doesn't snow much here in Florida, but it rains a whole lot. So what the areas that really collect a lot of water, where like it's directly in the path of where the water kind of naturally goes, we want to like double protect. So we have it there, but we also have it around the pipe jacks. We also have it around like all those things. So like you communicate in a way to where they're like, oh, like, okay, like, yeah, like try to get them, like give them cues that they should be excited about the way that you put that together. They don't know anything about roofs. You know that you put on a great product. Be excited about it. Tell them about it, all that. So when you're doing the inspection, have the checklist, show them final pictures, nerd out about roofs. It's your time. You can't do it at dinner parties, but you can do it right here. When you are done with that, you need to sell them the referral program. Like, I can't stress that enough. And I don't mean like you need to convince them. Hopefully selling and convincing is different, but you need to have a very intentional process of getting it. If you can, if the relationship has been built, be like, hey, I met like 5 of your neighbors. Like, I never met your actual next door neighbor. Like, are you friends with them? Yeah. I climbed up on your roof a lot, had a pretty good view of their roof. I definitely, like, they have some damage. Like, do you think they maybe would, like, do you think maybe like you could introduce them, or even just text them and ask if they're home and if it's okay if I stop by? You don't need to have them walk you to the neighbors. That is annoying. They will feel uncomfortable. The only people that do that, it's usually like the weird neighbor that is willing to do that. It's usually the person that they're like, oh my gosh, what is Jerry doing knocking on my door? We don't want that. Hey, are you friends with this person? Like, ask specifically. These are direct asks. You friends with this guy? Are you friends with the neighbor over here? I never actually got to talk with them, but like, they have a shingle falling off. Do you, any chance like you could just text them and ask them if it would be okay if I came and knocked on their door and talked to them for a second? Why not? So do all that. Ask for the review, ask for Facebook review, see if you can get a video testimonial, like do all the things. Like, this is like literally just have a list, all the things like that ideally you could get. This one's great. Hey, could I take a picture of you in front of your roof and post it on our page? Some people will say no. Some people will be like, sure. Whatever it is, just do it. Don't do the picture if they don't want it. I mean, like, if they say yes, then do it. If they say no, then like, all right, no problem, I get it. Some people don't like to be on social media. But when you get to like the real, okay, I'm about to fully present my referral program, this is how you want to handle it. And it gets a little formal. That's why I said, like, this is more, okay, direct. Hey, based on your experience, Sam, would you refer us to one of your friends if they did need to get their roof replaced? Yeah, y'all have been great. Oh, awesome. Hey, thanks so much. That means a lot. Would you be interested in that case, like in participating in our referral program? We actually give $25 just for a qualified appointment. And if like that comes out, and if they do the project with us, we will give you $250. Free money, like signing up super easy. It doesn't cost you anything. Like, you want to do it? They're like, yeah. Like, yeah, why not? Like, why would they say no if you present it that way? I'm going to get to you in a second, John. On 3, say, yeah, sure, I'm interested. Ask them if they're interested before you give them the details. That's a little trick. You give them this detail, the details they like. Don't give them the details of what they have to do to be a part of it. Okay, cool. Awesome. So in order to participate, we just need you to post about your experience with us on your Facebook page. So it'd help if you do it now. Can you just pull out your phone and put something together real quick so I can make sure that you get the business page right? Because there's another company out in Miami that has a similar name. And so I can let the office know so we can track your referrals. Anyone who comes in from the post and anytime in the future will actually count towards you. So we'll be making sure that you get credit for it. We know you probably don't know someone that just needs a new roof, but we don't want that to disqualify you from maybe getting some money for putting a good word for us in front of your network. Like, is that a reasonable thing to say? Like, yeah, no one's going to be super upset. Is it going to happen every time? No. But none of this is going to work every time. But that's individual. What will generally work almost every time is all these things together. Something is going to happen. Something's going to hit. Something's going to get that additional appointment. Something's going to get those referrals. A lot of the time, you're going to get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 appointments from these processes. So make sure none of an individual one is not like I don't care. You could be like, Brad, I hate direct mail and I'm not going to send it. I'd say, okay, what are you going to do instead? I disagree, but what are you going to do instead? What could replace that? The reason I've stuck with direct mail is because it's the best thing to replace it. But if you have another idea, like by all means. So all these things, like we want to do all of these things. At the very end, after the job's complete, you've collected the final check. When everything's pretty much done, they're happy. Maybe they've already given you some referrals. Do what no one else does. Send the final postcards. I skipped steps. That was like my big reveal. And then I forgot I had an extra slide. But send the extra postcards. And also, we're suggesting right now to do the handwritten card as well. Thanking the neighbors for their patience during the project. Something like that. And then the handwritten's like, hey, thanks so much for your patience. Like, we know it's not fun when your neighbor's getting a new roof, but we hope that we were able to make it as smooth of a process for you as we could too. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Here's my personal cell phone number. So then, if you didn't get a review, man, I really skipped ahead. John, what's your question? Because I thought that I was like about to wrap up and I have a few more slides, so I don't want to.
No, so I just had a quick question in regard to like how you could kind of use and optimize a program, like get the referral for a section like this. So like I really like number 3 there, how you actually get them to like your Facebook page and your Instagram or whatever you want to kind of pull them into and stuff before you sign them up. But have you signed up with GTR, and like how can you kind of see this section kind of
super easy
a bit to make use of it?
So GTR gives you a custom link. Like they'll each have their own link that will give them credit. So it's a URL with like their tracking stuff on it. So if you use GTR, it's even better. Like we love GTR. Post the same post, but now you can say first sign up for this. But the nice thing is if you got, I think you did get this package, if I recall, John, there's a package where you can have the job like progress, like that's hooked up to your CRM to where you're like in production, this and that. That's a great reason to have them have the app on their phone already and have the code already, even if they don't know that they have it. So, hey, remember that app I had you download? Yes. Awesome. Go, can you open it up? I'm going to show you. Go here. Here's a button that will like take you to share your experience on social media. It has a pre-written one, but go ahead and add anything else that you'd like. And if you could, just add a picture. And then it'll give the link and all of that. Now, best practices in social media organic posting is not including a link and then putting it in the comments or something. But they don't post enough. The nice thing is they probably don't post that often. So when they do post, Facebook's gonna like be like, give them all the dopamine. So they're gonna get more reach than the average person because the majority of like just random people aren't like posting much on social media. But when they do, they get more reach because Facebook's trying to like get them to keep going. But get the referral makes it easy. There's a button. There's two things. Having the app already is great, but if they don't, you just here, scan this. Don't even tell them what you're doing. Scan this real quick. Okay. It's taking you to an app. You see it? Yeah. Boom. All right. Can you fill out your information? Like fill out your name and all that. Boom. And then just like, okay, now click here, and it's actually gonna, you have a custom link now. Share it on your Facebook, and we'll enter you as one of our platinum referral partners or something. Like just name it something. We'll turn you into a platinum referral partner. Just share this on your Facebook and maybe add a photo. And if you want to add a little bit more details about your experience, that's awesome. But if not, it's fine. And then anyone who uses that link will go. I want you to tag our page though as you do it. So there's like, so that people can reach out to us. We're still going to ask if they just call us directly, if maybe they came from a referral. So don't worry. If they didn't sign up from the link, we'll still use it. For anyone who doesn't know what Get the Referral is, we'll maybe do a training like presentation on it in the next few weeks. Not immediately, because we need to make sure we have the training and presentation ready, but we will do that. So good question.
One thing I will say to everybody is like, if you have an awesome CRM like Proline, like all these text messages that like Brad was talking about as far as like before your appointment and like all that stuff, like it can all be automated in Proline, and you can kind of get rid of the excuse for forgetting to send it.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Proline's amazing. I really do think that I don't think there's another CRM that's as good as Proline for roofing right now, but you'll start seeing John actually here on these calls soon. We're about to work with him, bring him through this stuff. So job complete. Send the postcards, the additional postcards, do the handwritten letter as well. If you did not already get a review in person, I say this is your review backboard, because you should have already asked for a review. Sending a link and trying to do it via text messages or emails and all that, you are less likely to get a review than if you just ask the person. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have the option on the text message thing, but this is just your review backboard. Hey, thanks for the opportunity to work on your home. We are so grateful you chose us. If you don't mind, would you leave us a review on your experience? They're going like, yeah, sure. And then awesome, here's the link. Don't send them the link, because what if by any small chance they hated the experience, give them an opportunity to tell you that before you make it really easy for them to give you a 1-star review. It's not like you should know probably by now, but just by that small chance. If maybe someone else managed the job from start to finish and you really didn't have many touch points, then you might want people to be a little careful. It's called review gating, kind of illegal, but if you do it manually, it's not. It's just illegal if like it's a software. And I say illegal. It's not illegal. It's just like Google tries to catch you if you're doing that. But if you're doing it manually, they won't. Nothing will happen. Before and after pictures. So you should have taken a picture right at the beginning, the first time you even inspected the roof, and you should have taken a picture after it was finished, usually at the post-job inspection. Post it, use their name, say the street name even if you can, or the neighborhood name. Thank them for trusting you. Invite anyone who wants to work with you to work with you. If you really want, you could even put their Get the Referral link. If you're using Get the Referral, that would be very generous, but a cool little like last minute pat on the back and perk, and then boost the post, a mile radius around the job. $5 a day, nothing crazy, but once again, more touch points, more ways for your brand and your name to be seen. If you like, we have a suggested ongoing Facebook ad strategy that it works okay. And I know that that sounds like a funny thing for me to say, but that's just Facebook ads. Just they work okay sometimes. Sometimes they really suck. Like sometimes they don't work at all. So like this is not a don't do this every time, but sometimes it works pretty well. Add them if you do use it, and if you want to do it, hit us up. We'll help you set it up. You can have a big ad, like a broad ad that has the last 15 jobs that you've done, a mile radius around the last 15 jobs. So this one is, hey, if you're seeing this ads, we are replacing a roof within 1 to 2 miles of your home. Are you having any of the following problems? Leaking and needs repair, getting old and needs replacement, damage from prior storms. Roofers Elite has been providing roofing services to homeowners in Auburn for years. Click the button below to schedule your hassle-free, free inspection. And then have like something that we make in Canva or something. We're in your neighborhood, claim your free inspection. This is another one, same thing. We're in your neighborhood. If you see this ad, that means we've recently completed a roofing project close to you. We want to offer free inspection to anyone in the area. So like, if you are going to do ongoing Facebook stuff, make sure that it speaks towards the same stuff you're doing here. Don't go try to add in an entirely separate strategy. Try to make sure it's at least like kind of aligned with all the same stuff that we're trying to do. We're all about finding our advantage.
Is this an ad or is this a boosted post?
This is an ad specifically. This would be the boosted post. Once again, this is purely optional. Don't see it and think, oh my gosh, don't get shiny object syndrome with it. I know, John, you hate Facebook ads, so I don't think I have to worry about that for you. But this one, like, don't worry. But if you want to have like an ongoing Facebook ad that you're spending like $10 a day on or $15 a day on, just so it's in front of people, and so you always have some stuff going on Facebook, the ad could look like this. Now, the final thing that we want to do, which is something not many people do, is just check in. Don't move on to the next one. Make sure they know that they are important to you. So just text them to remind them that you care. Hey, we just replaced a roof about a month ago. Just wanted to check in and see how things have been going. Hopefully all's well. Very nice. Very simple. It's going great. Thanks. Or we loved you. Awesome. We appreciate you for trusting us. Thank you. You can maybe send another text message, be like, by the way, like, don't forget that you're signed up for our referral program. Like, just wanted to remind you. Say, like, you can make another post even if you wanted. Or if you're in a neighborhood group, that could be a good place to post as well. Once again, you will get credit for all of the posts that come from you. It's just another chance to remind them about the referral program. So that's it, guys. Like, that is a pretty holistic example of like what this type of process can look like. And doing all of these things, every job, every project, and just making sure it's being done on a normal basis, making sure that you are organized in a way to where you're not having to think through this. That's where the per job and per appointment checklist come in. We are trying to make it like super easy for you. You don't have to think through it. You've done some one-time work to get it organized. We've maybe helped you depending on how things have been. You have this checklist that you can look at. Screenshot it on your phone if it's just you and you're not using salespeople yet, and just have this stuff done. Make sure it's being done over and over and over again. If you can automate it, if you have a automated text messages from your CRM, use that. Like, leverage things. And that's the kind of stuff, like, if you have all this stuff in place, if you're doing it on a normal basis, it will grow and build more and more and more. And we're not playing home run derby. We're hitting singles when other people are trying to play home run derby and striking out over and over and over again. And if you like baseball, you know, getting on base is what's important. You're just going to keep going, keep doing it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. And I promise you, like, that's how you're going to win. That's how you're going to build longevity. That's how you're going to build a foundation. That's how you're going to make sure that things are always kind of growing and building within your business if you're doing this over and over again. Now, you have to start somewhere. So if you're, once again, S&P 500 is a great example. If you start with $10, it will take a lot longer than if you start with $100. Now, there's ways to turn $10 into $50 that are kind of one-time bursts of energy that we can do. And that's something that maybe we want to look at if you're really struggling with even just like having that basic pipeline. But if you already have a pipeline, like if you're running 3 to 4 appointments a week, even, like, this stuff will work. If you're doing a job a week, this stuff will begin really building for you if you just do it over and over and over.